My name is Brian. I am 39 years old. Work at the bank. You want to do this about the Bills? Yeah. Okay, we can do this about the Bills. Okay, I'm Brian. I'm a Bills fan. Been a Bills fan since 1990. Live or die with them ever since. We're now in 2017, so we're looking at 27 years of Bills life and Bills Nation. I feel I'm the #1 Toronto Bills fan. Like I am Bills Nation Canada. This is how I got brought into Bills Mafia and Bills Nation. It was 1990. I went across cross-border shopping with my mom in Buffalo. She loved to hit the malls, get the sales, everything like that, right? So the Bills had their first ever home playoff game in team history. First ever one at the Ralph. Like they had some in the 60s, but their new stadium, which is there now, New Era Field, this was their first ever home playoff game. We were there. Now, in the NFL, you have to sell out your game 72 hours in advance or it's blacked out, no one can watch on TV, right? So a bank stepped in at the last minute and bought the remaining 5,000 tickets so it would be sold out. And they were announcing on the radio, if you come in and open an account at the bank, you get 2 free tickets to the Bills game. So I was like, let's do it. We'll go to the Bills. I'm like 12 years old, and it was freezing rain and that crappy Buffalo weather. And I was like, I didn't even like football. I'd never watched football in my life. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, no, we're going, right? Like, it's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. I'm like, okay. So we got tickets and went to a game. It was the Dolphins versus the Bills, 1990 divisional playoffs. The Bills beat the Dolphins. I think the score is 48-38. And it was the highest scoring NFL playoff game to that point in freezing rain. And like, I was hooked, man. The next week we went back, got tickets to see the Bills play the Raiders in the AFC title game, 1990. And we beat the Raiders 51-3 to go to the Super Bowl. Norwood missed the field goal. But like, you're a young kid. And she planted the seed that created the monster. Like really, she did. And we went to a game we ended up going to every home playoff game in team history, me and her. And we went to a game once in 1993, January 28th, 1993. I remember the day. They played the Houston Oilers in the playoffs, but insane. We were down 32-3 at halftime and rallied back and won 41-38 in overtime. And the fans went so insane, they stormed on the field. After the game was done, they stormed the field and ripped the goalpost down. And I'm like a 15-year-old kid in the crowd. And I was just like, I'm totally all in on this, man. Like, no more baseball became Bills then and there, man.
This is for the win. This is to advance in the playoffs to Pittsburgh. It will be a 31-yard field goal attempt.
Only 50% this season from between 30 and 40, as you saw.
It is right down the middle.
It was great, man. It was great. And she, you know what? She planted the seed. Like, she groomed me to be a Bills fan. You know, like I showed you the picture. Like, hang on. This is... My mom passed in 2015. Terrible. But when I was going through her personal effects and stuff like that, like I found this picture and I made sure I got it for you. This is me at like 4 years old in my junior kindergarten class picture. But like, look at this, dude. Dressed me up as a Bills fan. It's really weird how it's intertwined in my life. And that's like in 1994, the Bills played the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. No, 93 it was. Anyway, we got smoke showed, like 52-17, we lost. And my favorite player of all time, my favorite athlete of all time, Jim Kelly, got hurt in the second quarter. He tore his knee, right? No big, oh, it's a big deal. He was done. But he went in the locker room, and usually guys go in the locker room, they disappear, right? So he went in the locker room, and then in the third quarter, he came out in his street clothes on crutches and refused to go to the hospital and stood and took it like a man on the sidelines with the rest of the team, right? And that's something that's like, at like 15 years old, I watched that, and you were just like, you were sad. The Bills were losing. We were going to lose our 3rd straight Super Bowl. I was going to go to school and get harassed again, like 3 straight Super Bowl losses. But Jim came out and took it like a man, like my hero. And the thing was, my dad died 11 years ago, and that was my first ever tragic thing in my life, like first ever tragic thing. And one thing I thought about was that moment with Jim Kelly coming out on crutches to take it like a man with the rest of his team. And it was one of those things you draw inspiration from, and it was like, keep your head up, like, you're on crutches right now, like, walk out there, man, like, face your day.
Jim Kelly, his season over in the first half, his right knee re-injured when hit by Ken Norton. Tough day in Pasadena, as Kelly now can only cheer for his teammates to rally.
Like, my 2 favorite Bills of all time are Jim Kelly, number 12, my man, and Steve Tasker. And Jim Kelly and Steve Tasker came here when the Bills came to Toronto, and they were in Dundas Square, and I worked at Atrium on Bay, and I went over to, like, look at them, basically, like, whatever. And I was thinking, like, should I line up and get an autograph? And I was like, how do I do this without being creepy? Like, to go up to Steve Tasker and be like, all right, you're the reason I've worn 89 in every sport I've ever played since I was 15 years old. And, like, Jim Kelly, like, I thought about you when my dad died. Like, I thought about you when, like, shit hit the fan. I thought about, like, your game here or your game against this team. And, like, the thing is, you don't know. Like, it's weird how they influence your life as a kid. And to get that passion and be with the Bills fans down there and the passion they have.
Let's go, Buffalo! 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 Bills make me want to shout!
It's like the last pure thing of my childhood is my love for the Bills. You know, everything else is kind of gone, but the Bills is just like, for life, Buffalo. For life. I wish I could convey the passion to other people and they could have the same passion in some teams and like the same hope and like the weird way it directs your life. Not your whole life, but like you have to have passion for something. If you don't have passion for something, like you don't really have a rudder on your life ship, so to speak. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, and that's what Bills is giving me, man. Every September, it's a new season. You know, and hey, you have new hope, and we've gone 17 years without the playoffs, and I just want to see it once, man. Like I do, and I don't know, I'd probably break down and cry, to be honest with you. Like, to see them back would be absolutely incredible. In closing, like, this random day in 1990, like going over cross-border shopping to get cheap stuff at Buffalo stores that you couldn't get in Toronto, and, like, we decided to go to a Bills game, and, like, that planted the seed. And that seed has grown into like my oak tree of strength. And it's really weird that you think it's just but you think it's just a sports team. And you think it's just like, oh, I watched the game on Sunday, but like it's become like a passion and it's become like a camaraderie. And here we are all these years later, and it's just like Bills Nation, man, you know? And that's it. You think about them in like tough times, you think about the good times, like you live for the Sunday to watch them play, and it's like your little piece of like heaven, you know? And that's Bills Nation, man. Yeah, East York chapter guy.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby.